يا مساء الفل والجمال واهلا وسهلا بكل مشاهدي ومتابعي قنوات اون سبورت في كل مكان، وحلقه جديده من برنامجكم سوبر ليج. حلقه هامه وخاصه واستثنائيه، لان ضيف حلقه النهارده هو واحد من الشخصيات الكرويه الهامه والخاصه والاستثنائيه والتاريخيه الحقيقه، يعني واحد من افضل لاعيبه الكره عبر التاريخ، اللاعب الاكثر شموليه، تتويجات مختلفه مع اي سي ميلان، مع المنتخب، متوج بالبالندور 1987، وزي ما تم وصفه هو اللاعب الاكثر شموليه في تاريخ كره القدم. ضيف حلقتنا النهارده بكل تاكيد صاحب الكاريزما الطاغيه كلاعب وكمدرب وكمحلل، المتوج بالندور 87 الاسطوره رود خالد. رود، سعداء جدا بوجودك معانا في قناه اون سبورت المصريه عبر برنامج سوبر ليج، وسعداء اكتر بتلبيه الدعوه بكل تاكيد.
Thank you very much. I am very happy to be here. I'm always been fascinated by the ancient Egyptians. So after my career, I had the opportunity to come here. I did a program about the ancient Egyptians 4 years ago, and now I'm back again. So for me, it's always a good feeling to be back in Cairo.
اعتقد ان في البروجرام اللي عملته فيما يتعلق بموضوع الاهرامات نزلت جوه الهرم، ودي مش الزياره الاولى ليك للقاهره، وانت حابب القاهره رغم الزحمه شويه، لكن تجربتك داخل الهرم كانت عامله ازاي؟
For me, it was the best feeling I could have, because I've dreamt all my life of seeing it in front of me. So therefore, when I went in, it was an absolute unbelievable feeling. You wonder yourself, how did I do it? How did I build it? Was it already there for a long, long time? So therefore, there's a lot of questions to be answered, and nobody really has the answers. So therefore, it's a wonder, world wonder, and so therefore, my feeling all the time in life is why. Everything is always a why. So therefore, you stand in front of it and you look at it and you think, why? What was the purpose of it? Was it a grave? Was it a tomb for the pharaohs? Was it like that? So therefore, there's a lot of things, because normally the pharaohs always buried themselves with the book of death, a lot of inscriptions, hieroglyphs and things like that. But in the pyramid you can't find anything of that. So therefore, was it a tomb for the pharaoh, or was it something else?
بالتاكيد عظمه الحضاره المصريه بكل تاكيد. رود، خليني ابدا حواري معاك وارجع لكاس العالم 90 تحديدا، لان انا كنت طفل وانا بتفرج على لقاء مصر وهولندا، وده كان حدث هام جدا بالنسبه لي، وكنت اعلم جوده المنتخب الهولندي المتوج باوروبا 88 وجوده التريو الذهبي فان باستن ورود خالد وريكارد، لكن كتير مننا وانا واحد منهم لفت نظري هذا اللاعب الفت الكاريزما السريع الموهوب جدا، صاحب الشعر الكيرلي الايكونيك بكل تاكيد، وما كنتش عارف احدد المركز اللي هو بيلعب فيه، وبعد كده عرفت ان انت لعبت في كل مراكز الملعب، مدافع، لاعب وسط، جناح، مهاجم، شيء مبهر الحقيقه. ازاي بدات في المراكز دي كلها، لان كانت درجه النجاح في اتقان الادوار الممتازه؟
Not always it was in my advantage, because I was originally a defender. I had always the urge of going forward as a defender. I was quite strong, quick, so it was easy for me to go forward. When I got my first contract with Haarlem, I played as a defender. Then the next year to become a new coach, he put me as a striker. So I had to learn how to do that, but the advantage was, because I was a defender, I could understand how a defender would think. Okay. So I had to all the time thinking the opposite. Where does the defender doesn't want me to have, to put him out of his comfort zone? So I taught that a little bit myself. Then I went to another team. I went to Feyenoord. Then I played as a right winger. I had to teach myself how to get crosses in, for your striker. So making moves, good cross. And so therefore that I did okay. then I went to PSV Eindhoven, played again as a defender. But at the same time, I played also in the national team. I played as a midfielder. So therefore, I had to adjust myself all the time. It was not always in my advantage because I always had to adjust myself and adapt myself, not knowing if I could do it. And of course, you know, eventually you adapt yourself and it goes well, but you always have to do something new. When I went to Milan, I had to be a right midfielder, then a striker. So therefore, yeah, it was more an advantage for the coaches than for me. Because if they had a problem somewhere in the pitch, I could always fill that gap. So therefore, the position I didn't like the most was the right winger. Okay. I didn't like that because then you depend too much on the balls they will give you. Okay. When you are in the middle of the park, you can dictate a game a little bit better than you are on the outside.
إذن ده أكتر مركز ما كنتش حابه، لكن لما رحت تشيلسي وكانت تجربتك في الدوري الإنجليزي أعتقد برضو لعبت مدافع ولعبت في نص الملعب، وكان شعرت في مسيرتك وانت في فترة تشيلسي ان كنت بتستمتع بكرة القدم اكتر، ترقص كور طولية مظبوطة، كانت عاملة طفرة كبيرة في الدوري الإنجليزي في الوقت ده، فتم نقل مكانك من الدفاع إلى نص الملعب، مظبوط؟
Yes, but when Glenn Hoddle asked me to come to Chelsea, when I was at Sampdoria, I wanted something different. My life in Italy was fantastic, but also very intense because doing shopping or going to the cinema, going to the restaurant was very difficult because people all the time recognize you, were always trying to get something for you. And I needed my privacy as well. So therefore, to go to Chelsea was the right decision. It was a strange decision because Chelsea was not a club that was playing for the championship. Nevertheless, I liked the area also where Chelsea was. And I felt at ease. I felt fantastic. The Premier League at that moment was not at its highest. They did very badly in Europe. Not many good foreigners were playing. Only a couple. Cantona was there. Klinsmann went there. So therefore, when I arrived, after Bergkamp also arrived, so more players were coming. And when I became a coach, I had the opportunity to get Zola, Di Matteo, Vialli, Gustavo Poyet, and Leboeuf. So I had possibilities to get players in, but in the beginning it was easy for me. The experience of the Serie A, bringing it into the Premier League was easy. I was playing with fun. Italy was work. That was really hard work. The only victory that we celebrated was our first Serie A championship. And then the other ones was just go in a restaurant. We were just singing a little bit and then go home. No open car to the city, no celebration that, somewhere on a square like they do with Madrid, or nothing at all. So therefore it was just a job. It was the job in order to win as much as we could. We had also the right personnel for it, the right players for it, and the mentality especially. The mentality was just to work hard every game. Because in those days, the best players in the world played in Italy. So you could not, be soft. You could not, not staying concentrated every game because a little mistake, the opposition was always punishing you.
خليني اسالك لان انت اتكلمت في نقطه مهمه وهي ان الدوري الايطالي في الفتره اللي انت لعبت فيها ثم بعديها بسنوات كان الدوري الاقوى على مستوى العالم، عكس البريمير ليج حاليا هو الدوري الاقوى. ايه الفروقات؟ ايه اللي محتاجينه يعملوه في الدوري الايطالي عشان يعود بقوته؟ وجودك في انجلترا كان جاذب زي ما انت قلت لمجموعه كبيره من النجوم، لكن ما زال الدوري الايطالي خلال اخر سنتين عنده تنافسيه شديده في الصراع على اللقب تحديدا.
There's only one thing, that is money. The Premier League sells their rights in the world for a lot more money than the Italian. And in the days that I went to Italy, that was the case in Italy. So therefore the money was in Italy, and so to come back to that position is difficult, very difficult, because that's why also a lot of competitions outside of the Premier League wants to create a different competition, like the Super League, remember? That everybody wanted, because they want to generate money in order to compete with the Premier League. The best players around the whole world all go to the Premier League for that sense. And yeah, in my days, in the 80s, 90s, that was the case in Italy.
كلام مهم مع الأسطورة بكل تأكيد رود خالد عن بداياته، عن الدوري الإيطالي والدوري الإنجليزي، وهنبدأ نخش في كل محطة من المحطات، لكن هستأذن حضراتكم نروح لفاصل سريع ونرجع تاني نكمل معكم. يا اهلا وسهلا بحضراتكم من جديد، ولسه مكملين هذا اللقاء الخاص والاستثنائي مع الاسطوره رود خالد. رود، خليني اسالك، بعد هارلم في هولندا والانتقال بعد كده لفاينورد، وجودك في فتره فاينورد لعبت جنب يوهان كرويف، واحد من اساطير كره القدم كلاعب وكمدرب. يمكن انت ليك تصريح ان كرويف في الفتره دي كان 34 سنه او 36 سنه، ما كنتش تتخيل ازاي هيكون قوي وهو 27، عن قدرته في التحكم في الجيم، وقدرته كرويف، رود خالد وباقي اللعيبه تفوزوا بالدوري الهولندي في هذا الوقت. بتشوف ازاي التجربه باللعب جنب كرويف، وازاي هو مؤثر في تاريخ التدريب على مستوى العالم بكل تاكيد، وقوه برشلونه مع كرويف وكل ما فعله لكره القدم؟
I think that I was very fortunate to have Johan Cruyff during my career. He came at a moment that I was developing myself from a footballer to a better football player. He talked with me a lot. He said already that he prepared myself for the things that were coming. He said always to me, Rudy, when you are going to a next club, the fans will not be happy. They will be very angry at you. Any club you change, they will be angry with you. Also, you need to play in a certain way that you make other players playing better. Not only yourself, but you have to instruct the others also in the pitch how to play better. And when you play with him at that moment, you don't realize that yet. You just see it. But when you play with Johan was a coach on the pitch. He had the vision and the anticipation of somebody who already knew what's going to happen, and for that reason had time to indicate to players where to go. He coached you all the time. Go there, stay here, come backwards, all these kind of things. He was all the time coaching. So therefore I learned a lot tactically, especially where you have your triangles, because what a lot of people don't understand is that football is playing chess with moving pawns. Okay. It's not only playing with the ball and player. Good players can think one set, before it happens. Yeah, one move before it happens. The very good players, the best, they do already 3-4 times before something happens. They already realize what to do before the ball goes there, while the ball is there. And that is, recognizing patterns. A chess player also recognizes patterns. He sees these patterns all the time, the moves and everything, he knows. He only thinks, what does he think, what I would do? So you anticipate all the time, the chess player. The good players do that all the time. So therefore you anticipate all the time. And he teaches you, and you can see the patterns going. And when you anticipate, the game becomes so much easier. Because even though the ball is there, you make movements here, because you know that in 3 moves, the ball has to come here. If it doesn't, so also, you anticipate also, if it gets intercepted, what if? You have to think already, what will I do to anticipate that again? So there's a whole lot of things happening in a split second. The bad players, they can only think when the ball comes. Okay. They get the ball and then they look. Or where to play. No, before you get the ball, you know already that somebody's moving there. You have to play the ball there. So these kind of things, He's teaching you while you're playing. So for me, it was exceptional during my career to have somebody like that. I'm very grateful for that. I think that Johan Cruyff and all his, generation footballers helped also to pave the way for us, so that the world was looking at players in Holland. Because all of a sudden, with the total football, everybody was looking in '74. Everybody was looking in Holland of players, because they saw something that a lot of other countries didn't have. So therefore, I'm very grateful for that. Johan Cruyff has been an inspiration for our country, best player we ever had. And he's not among us anymore, but thank you very much, Johan.
بكل تأكيد كرويف واحد من الناس اللي غيرت في الكورة وأثرت في الكثير من محبي كرة القدم. في بي اس في ايندهوفن كان تأثيرك هام جدا، والحقيقة اللعيبة اللي زي رود خالد تأثيرهم كمان خارج الملعب مهم جدا. انت غيرت في هوية النادي لما طلبت تغير الشورت بتاع النادي وتغير اللون. ايه الحكمة او ايه السر ما خلف تغيير الشورت للنادي، والإدارة استجابت ليك لتأثيرك الكبير داخل وجوه الملعب؟
When I came to PSV Eindhoven, all of a sudden, all the lessons that Johan gave me were coming through. Fans were not happy that I left Feyenoord. And all of a sudden you realize that you have to win. You have to. You don't come there just to play football. No, you come because you have to help them to win something. So during that first period, you just looking at what the club is all about. You adjust yourself. I had a sponsor, Adidas, and they was also the sponsor of the club. And I thought that the shirt and the shorts and the socks were horrible. That was for me. It was not. It didn't express, a grade of greatness as a team with the shirt. So I said to them, you have to change everything. You have to change. Of course, the colors will stay the same. It was still red, but the other thing was like it was with red with a white stripe here, black shorts. We had socks with stripes and everything. It was horrible. And I said, no, you have to change it. So we need white socks, white shorts, and a red shirt with the sponsor. And I managed to do that. I managed to change also the nets in the goals. I wanted to have deeper nets, because the goalkeeper of the opposition have to know when he takes that ball out of the net. And it looks better. So I managed to do that. I mean, I became also captain also of that team, because I saw that I was taking responsibility and always thinking of the team. And that is where I realized what Johan Cruyff saw in me. Taking responsibility, making decisions. The funny thing was that at that moment, Johan Cruyff was the coach of Ajax. So I was playing against him. And everybody in Amsterdam was so happy with him that he was a coach. They played so much good football. And I think the second game of the competition we had to play away in Amsterdam against Ajax. And we beat them, yes. So that was good. And as he said to me, I was there to win the championship, and we did. We won the championship immediately. So there was a fantastic feeling, not only for myself, but also for PSV Eindhoven, who didn't win something for 16 years. So therefore, you feel the responsibility, you feel also the impact that you have. But then when you win something, that is not where it finished. You have to continue, because teams looking different at you. They're looking that you are a stronger team. They are defensive, better also against you. They give more than 100%. All of these things change. So the second year is the most difficult one.
النجاح مع فاينورد ومع ايندهوفن كان فاتح، والنجاح اكيد مع المنتخب الهولندي فتح لك الطريق للانتقال للدوري الايطالي بكل تاكيد. اي سي ميلان، برلسكوني، ثم توقيعك بعقد في الوقت ده كان اعتقد 7.9 مليون دولار، وهو رقم ضخم للغايه في الوقت ده. انتقالك كان عامل ازاي للميلان ورغبتك في الوجود في الميلان، ثم مزامله فان باستن وايضا فرانك ريكارد، اللعب بكل تاكيد في ايطاليا والسيطره على الكره الايطاليه والاوروبيه لفتره.
Yeah, so we won 2 championships in a row, and Milan was pulling at me. But I thought that I would stay in Eindhoven. I thought I had no chance to go anywhere. Till one moment I was called from training ground to go to the offices of Philips. And I said to myself, well, I have to do that. Yeah, you will see there. And then Berlusconi was there. And he said, yeah, we bought you 17 million guildens was at that moment. It was the top transaction in the world of football at those days. And so therefore, all of a sudden, things change in your life. You have to go to a country you don't know. You have to adjust yourself. You have to learn the language, the customs. And in the first year, only Van Basten and I were there. And we played an unbelievable good first season, where we won the championship also, against a fantastic Maradona. But the most important thing was to get Rijkaard as well. That was the missing little link that we needed in midfield to be almost invincible. Almost. Okay. But when Frank Rijkaard came in the second year, that was the last puzzle that we needed. And from that moment on, we had much more possibilities to win trophies.
العلاقة بينك وبين فرانك ريكارد بادئة منذ الصغر أعتقد، وأنت كنت أحد الأسباب في وجود فرانك ريكارد مرة أخرى في الميلان لسد الفجوة أو البازل زي ما بنقول كده. وجود فرانك ريكارد خلى الفريق مختلف تماما، يمكن كمان الميلان بقى أقوى. 1988 بعد فوزك بالبالون دور كنت انتوا الثلاثة لأول مرة في التاريخ موجودين في البالون دور ليست، فان باستن، خالد، ريكارد، شيء تاريخي بكل تأكيد. التريو ده كان أحد أسباب شعبية كبيرة جدا لإي سي ميلان في مصر وفي الشرق الأوسط وفي المنطقة العربية بالمناسبة.
Yeah, the thing is we didn't thought that we would play all 3 of us in that team. Where Van Basten and I played for the national team, we knew there was some rumors going on in that moment, and Frank at that moment had signed 2 contracts at the same time. So you can't do that, 2 different clubs. So therefore, Milan had some doubts about him, and I said, no, you have to do. So Marco and I, we were pushing Saki to reconsider that he was the important thing. And at that moment, we played also with Ancelotti also in the midfield. But Ancelotti and Frank at the same time in the midfield, that was unbelievable. So therefore, we controlled also midfield. But of course, we had an unbelievable defense with Baresi, Maldini, Tassotti, and Costa Curta was fantastic. Sometimes people don't realize how good they were. We did exercises on training ground. We played with the 4 in the back, Ancelotti and Rijkaard as 2 midfielders against 11.
11.
Yeah, so goalkeeper and 6 players against 11. Couldn't score a goal. Could not score a goal. And Buster was up front. I was on the right side and against Maldini trying to do it. Then they were so good that they played without the midfielders. Only goalkeeper and 4 tried to get through them and everything, impossible. So therefore it was a really good, lineup that was so difficult to defeat. So if you have a good defense, it makes it all much easier also to attack. As long as you don't concede, you always have a possibility to win. And of course, not all the games we were at top form, not all of them. But there was also games that you grinding and everything was difficult. But then you don't concede, then you still have a possibility to win the games. And this is what we did as a team. The team collective to defend and to attack was amazing.
خليني اسالك عن مباراه نابولي الشهيره اللي انت قلت ان انتوا كسبتوا فيها الدوري الايطالي، واللعب ضد مارادونا، ووجودك وشفت مارادونا وهو بيسخن وهو بيلعب، وقصه الطيارتين الشهيره اللي سافرتوا بيهم الى نابولي، وازاي قدرتوا تاخدوا الدوري او تقربوا بالفوز على نابولي في ملعبهم سان باولو.
No, first of all, the first game we played, I was getting the Ballon d'Or, and then I had to play against Napoli, and we won that game at home. Then, during the end of the season, we were 1 point behind the Napoli. In those days, you get only 2 points, not 3 points like now, only 1 point, 2 points, and a draw at 1 point. We had to win, and we went to Napoli with 2 planes. And I didn't realize why the other plane was, but eventually when we arrived in the hotel, were screaming fans there. They were shouting klaxon all the time, noises. The other plane was full of people, of guards, bodyguards, and also the cook. And with all the food that they had, they were so afraid that somebody would put something in our food in that game that nobody could touch our food. So therefore, all the guards were giving us the food and everything. None of the staff of the hotel in Milan, in Napoli, could touch our food. So the whole night there was people around the hotel trying to keep us awake. Next day we were going to the stadium. People with scooters, things and everything, throwing eggs, stones, everything on the bus. It was incredible. I was like amazed to see all this going on. Then we had the warming up, and the warming up in Italy was not done on the pitch like now. It was always in a little gym. And it was 2 little rooms, it was 1 big room, but you only had space for your team, and Napoli was here. And then you saw Maradona coming in, touching the ball and everything. It was fantastic to watch. I was even watching him like, okay, you're very good, by the way. So we did the warm up, and I think it was one of the best games we played with Milan. We won away in Naples with a full stadium, and then that was the turning point where we flipped over Napoli, and that we never gave away our advantage and won the championship.
ذكريات عظيمة الحقيقة عن قوة دفاع الميلان، وهو يعد واحد من أقوى دفاعات على مستوى العالم، عن لقاء رود خولت التاريخي ضد مارادونا. هستأذن حضراتكم نروح لفاصل سريع ونرجع تاني نكمل. يا اهلا وسهلا بحضراتكم من جديد. رود، خليني اسالك عن تجربتك في تشيلسي والدور المزدوج كلاعب ثم كمدرب في نفس الوقت، وانت بتقود الفريق للفوز كمان بالاف اي كاب، ودي كانت بطوله مهمه وجودك مع الفريق، وازاي قدرت توازن بين الاثنين تحديدا؟
No, I was asked when Glenn Hoddle left for the national team from Chelsea, they begged me. They asked me, please, you have to take it over, you have to do it. And in the beginning, I didn't want to do it because that means also the end of your career. Eventually, I gave in. I said, okay, I'm going to do it. But, you are player manager. And I think it's an impossible job because you are normally in the locker room with the players. And now you are out of the locker room, but still playing with them. That's almost impossible because you have to make unpopular decisions about players that you always were socializing with. So all of a sudden you have to take yourself out of the locker room and you have to make tough decisions. And you have to put players also on the bench. And so it was hard. So closely every game I put myself more on the bench and let the players, because I had to watch them, I had to see what they were doing. It went all well. We had the opportunity then to win the FA Cup, and I didn't even put myself on the bench. I must say it was one of the most proudest moments as a person to go on the old Wembley, take your team out, have to walk on the midfield and introduce your players to people of the royal family. So, yeah, I was, you know, just hoping that things go well, of course. I had prepared my team well. We scored after 1 minute already. And yeah, to win as a coach was an unbelievable feeling. Nevertheless, you know, you still like to play. It was difficult. I really had a difficulty with it. I had a feeling that I never thought of becoming a coach. Never. I never had the ambition of it. All of a sudden I was it. Did I like it? No. I didn't like it because of the fact that I am a very happy guy. I like to have a laugh. I like to have positive people around me. But if you are a coach, you have to think about so many aspects. You can't smile too much because otherwise people think you're not serious. Or, you know, people take advantage of you also. They try. So you have to all the time look very busy, you know, all the time looking busy, everything, always. That was not me. So I had a lot of difficulty with that. And I realized after a period that I tried to do it, that was not for me. Okay. And I'm happy with with the things that I do now. I do a lot of television. People can see me here in Egypt, always on the television. Champions League. I have a good relationship with the people in the Arab world. I always socialize with them. I always go away with them. So therefore, thanks for that. I also want to thank all the people that are supporting me. I enjoy being with people, mostly with positive people, because that people can also be very, very tough. So therefore, yeah, I had a wonderful career. I had won trophies. I've met a lot of people. The good thing about being in the position where I am now is that during my career, I traveled a lot, but I didn't see anything. I only saw airport, stadium, hotel, training pot. So for that reason, I am happy that I now can come here, can come to Cairo.
خليني أسألك الجزء الأخير من كاريرك الحالي وأنت محلل، واحد من أشهر المحللين الفنيين على مستوى العالم. بتشوف ازاي التواجد والازمه اللي ما بين محمد صلاح وارني سلوت المدرب الهولندي، مستوى ليفربول ككل متاثر، مستوى صلاح الفردي متاثر، هل العلاقه بينهم شايفها ازاي ومستقبل الاثنين مع بعض في الفريق عامل ازاي؟
No, I think that when Salah was playing for his contract, he was fantastic. Now he signed his contract. I don't know, but I think there is another reason for it. I was in a program in Holland with Boularouche. Boularouche also played in a team, I think it was Sevilla, I think he went, don't know, Valencia, one of the two. And he said that there was a similar situation as with Liverpool at that team when he arrived. A player died, and what people need to understand is that every player needs his own time to mourn about a player, because he was also good friends with Jota. So Salah also felt that, and other players also. And you can see that was a very big issue also in the team. Then there comes new players all of a sudden, and these new players come in an environment what is a little bit strange. It's not, you know, you can feel that something is going on. And I think that they needed a certain time to mourn about it. Then also, of course, the position of Salah changed a little bit because of Wirtz, who came, other players came, so it was different. More players were playing more on the left side than they were playing on his side. So there was a lot of issues with him, and I think that was the case also for Salah. We all know that Salah is a fantastic player, we all know, but everybody needs his time to mourn about somebody they loved so much.
رود، أنا بشكرك شكرا جزيلا، استمتعت جدا بوجودك معانا واستفدت جدا من وجودك معانا، سعادة كبيرة بوجودك معانا دائما وأبدا، وبشكرك على تلبية الدعوة ووجودك معانا.
Fantastic. I'm very happy to be here as well in Cairo. Every time I come here, there's this feeling about the Egyptians, the pride they still have about their ancient past, and I hope that they will, thrive as a country also in the future. So thank you, Egypt, for the hospitality, and we see each other again.
وكده وصلنا لنهايه حلقتنا الخاصه والاستثنائيه مع الاسطوره رود خالد. بشكر حضراتكم شكرا جزيلا، تصبحوا على الف خير والى ان نلتقي، لكم مني كل التحيه.